will be of significant importance in this role. Craig is a fourth-generation firefighter in the Cartier family. His father, who is here tonight, is a retired dairy firefighter, as well as currently a supervisor for the City of Manchester Fire Dispatch. Craig received our department's Firefighter of the Year Award in 2019. He has been awarded and recognized in both 2019 and 2025 by the Hudson Chapter Veterans of Foreign War Loyalty Day Service Awards. Craig was awarded Excellence in Leadership for both years. He was instrumental in converting 2 offices into bedrooms for the recent start of the fire department's overnight coverage and completed all the fit-up work for the new mini pumper that just went in service. We appreciate his continued positive impact on the department and congratulate him on his well-deserved promotion. So, Craig, if you'd like to come up, and Rachel. So Rachel will be pinning Craig. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Rachel, that means he's working at the fire department more often now. More than he already does. Have a good night.
Thank you.
It could be.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Take care, buddy.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
All right, thanks. All right, back to our agenda. First up is the review and approval of consent items. In this evening's consent folder, we have the accounts payable manifest for May 19th for $46,659.66. For May 26th, $69,847.41. June 2nd for $738,437.95. And June 9th for $134,481.16. In our payroll manifest for May 21st, we have $72,526.76. For May 28th, $70,089.03. For June 4th, $72,171.04. And June 11th, $74,569.22. We have an elderly exemption denial, a deed for map 5 lot 216, and the Board of Selectmen bylaws as amended on May 11th. All in the consent items. Do I have a motion to approve or anything to remove?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Sorry, Bob, go ahead.
Elderly exemption denial, reason one.
Insufficient paperwork.
Okay,
Okay.
you know I
Do I-
always ask.
Yep. Who's this, you seconded?
Yep.
Okay, so motion made by Mr. Perry, seconded by Mr. Gannon. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Oh, sorry, roll call. Mr. Leary?
Aye.
Gannon?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Perry?
Aye.
Plansky, aye. Motion carries 5-0-0. All right, next up is requests for other items or other business. I do want to add to the agenda the approval of the unlicensed dog warrant, if there's no objections. I'll put it towards the end. Was there anything else to be added? That was it, right? Okay. Anybody else have anything else they want to add tonight? Nope. Okay, cool. All right, first public input will be at 6:45 or no earlier than 6:45. Next up will be business, approval of minutes for May 11th. Has everybody had an opportunity to take a look at those?
Yes.
If there are no changes or if there's any motions, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of
Did you have
May
something?
11th, 2026.
You have something?
We'll second it and then we'll make the
Second.
motions.
Discussion.
It was page 14, when it had Mr. Leary as a selectman report, it gave the budget committee report.
So that would be Mr.
I
Perry.
believe that Mr. Leary at that meeting only stated the next meeting date for the rec commission.
Yes, I agree, that's the same. Yep. So you
So
can
that
make
would
that,
go under there, and then Selectman Perry would go above Budget Committee.
okay. All right, with that amendment to,
Since I was on that.
yeah, habits, all habits. All right, roll call vote on approval of the minutes with the amendment. Mr. Leary?
Aye.
Mr. Gannon?
Aye.
Myself is an aye. Mary?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0-0. All right, next up is the Conservation Commission Olson Restoration Plan. Ms. Kleiner.
Thank you. So, Mr. Lavash is here, the chair of the Conservation Commission. They met last Thursday evening to review the restoration plan. I just want to add that there was an item brought up, to my office today, or yesterday, which we took care of today. So there will be a communication going out, to the property owners, which has to do with a buffer, in a roadway that's into the buffer. It was reviewed by National Planning Commission, and our code enforcement officer just wrote it up, so you should be getting an email sometime this evening. We apologize for that, but it should not, interject or cause any problems into this proceeding. We see it as a totally separate issue, an issue that, was even not brought up at planning, so our apologies, but we're not looking for it to interfere with tonight.
Okay, I'm George Lavash, 13 Pearson Street, Chairman of the Conservation Commission.
Jason Brennan, a member of the Conservation Commission, Aldrich Street.
All right, so the Conservation Commission met with Chad Brannon and Patrick Green, representatives of Patriots Holdings in the matter of the clear cutting of the wetlands at Litchfield Estates. They presented a restoration or remediation plan to us. We reviewed that plan, and we found that it did not meet all of the needs that we expected or would like to see done. During the discussion, they agreed to go back and amend that plan, and particularly, we were concerned about areas in the center of the area that was disturbed. The existing plan provided for 24 pine trees to be around the perimeter, and we were more concerned, or also concerned about the interior. We also noted that the silt fence may not be in the exact proper location, and we asked for the location of the silt fence to be revisited and made sure it's in the correct location. So they're going to take our input and come back at the July 9th meeting and present to us another plan. We think that they're acting in good faith. They want to make this right, and because of that, we saw no, we think they're acting in good faith, so we think they're addressing the situation. If they do come back at the July 9th meeting and that plan is not acceptable, we have mentioned that we may want to hire an outside landscape architect firm to come in and give us a separate plan, and see how that compares to the plan that they've given us. The one thing I will state was, myself as a chair, I'm not sure if it was the board as a whole, but I was not happy that the fact that they did not self-report the cutting of the trees. It's obvious that this was done in the wetlands, and it was our engineer that noticed the wetland area was cut, and it wasn't self-reported. So I made that point at the meeting. I'm making it now. Jason has some great information that you can show you. I don't know if you guys have toured the area, but we did do a site walk I walked it a couple of times, 3 actually. And so Jason is here to show you what's going on.
Yep. So I'm just going to take 2 or 3 minutes to go over what we found out in the field. So there's 6 quick hitting things I want to focus on. Number 1, that's the original plan that was provided. The area that's in blue is the quote-unquote no-cut zone. That's the 50-foot setback buffer. You can see the number 1 and number 2 in there. Those are areas where we had issues where there was significant cutting. Okay. So I'm going to go to this is item number 2, going to the GIS to just give you a little bit of a before and after show in regards to this. So if you take a look at the map, you can see in blue, those are the wetland lines. In yellow, that's the 50-foot buffer zone. So if I turn that off, you can see the 50-foot buffer zone and the wetlands laid on top of a map that was pre-cut. And then if we go to what it looks like after it was cut, that's what essentially ended up being cut, that whole area. That whole area equates to, my calculation is actually a little more than 2 acres because it actually goes around here. And this whole area, which was cut, was also regraded and reshaped. And at the lowest point, excuse me, at the shortest point, we're about 12 feet from the actual wetland, the stream that goes back there. So there was significant cutting in this area too. So the big focus, the address had always been here, but it actually wraps around to there. Just to give you a little bit of a flavor on before and after, so let me go back. I have access to a significant amount of imagery that essentially gets taken several times a year across the East Coast. So this is what the site looked like as of September 29th, 2025. That blue area is essentially the no-cut zone. It's kind of approximate, but it kind of give you the idea. And that's what we look like as of April 10th, 2026. And this is what we look like on April 21st, 2026. And you kind of zoom in here, one of the key notes is you can actually see all of the stumps, all the larger trees that were taken out. We then completed a quick hitting tree cut analysis. George tried to count the trees by hand. I counted them on the computer and I ran it through AI to count it as well. All 3 of us ended up within 7 trees of each other. George counted 100, I counted 107, AI counted 110. And so you can see here's the individual trees that were cut. So there was a significant amount of trees. And when I mean the trees that are cut, the ones that we're counting are big trees. You know, they're 50 plus years old. They're, foot or so bigger.
Yeah, most of the stumps that I was counting were, 18 to 20 inch stumps.
All right, so what's it look like on the ground? 360 imagery, that's what it actually looks like on the ground right there. And so if I hit the play button here, kind of walk through a little bit. So that's the whole area that was cut. You can see some of the wetland areas in there as well. And so, yeah, it's pretty much wiped out. That's really kind of the bottom line. One of the key things, the last key thing that I wanted to just get across here is not to forget about this area as well. So this is the area that was graded. Trees were taken out or the dirt was moved. It was graded, and some of these areas are within 12 feet of the wetlands. So we're hoping the next plan that comes in restores this to, close to what it was, natural habitat and stuff like that.
I did miss a bullet point. We had asked that they put in like a flowering shrub or something in that area, some type of plant, a flowering plant in that area as part of the restoration.
The last thing that I'll say, so that's pretty much all the AV that we have right here. But the last thing I'll say is just like a personal opinion on this, not the opinion of the commission. What they brought to, firstly, I feel terrible for what happened. I mean, it's very unfortunate for what happened. But the plan that they brought into us, in my opinion, was not only lacking, but it doesn't serve to restore the wetland property in the future. So that's why we're asking for a landscape architect to come in here and really think about how we're gonna restore what was taken out. So the combination of trees that were in there were oaks, maples, and pines. Over 100 trees were taken out. They proposed to put 24 trees around the outside that are just pines. We need to look at this from a little bit of a different angle, not from a landscaping angle, but from a restoration angle. So that's what we're hoping to get at our next meeting. All I got. Any
questions?
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah.
One anecdote, I did call around a couple other towns to see what happened. And in Hudson, something similar like this happened recently where 200 trees were taken out. And Hudson made them replace those 200 trees. These weren't even in a wetland setback, by the way. They made to replace the 200 trees with 332 trees and 168 shrubs.
I mean, that sounds reasonable. That sounds like trying to remediate the problem. 24 is a joke. Total disregard for the wetlands, total disregard for that stream to regrade that. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'll stop there.
Oh, keep going.
No, I can feel my blood pressure going up and I can't even, that's like saying they don't even care. That's what that looks like to me.
I'm also trying to remember, I think I was on the zoning board when some of
You
the
were.
variants were there, and I'm trying to remember what the heck, I don't even remember what year it is, so I get the year, I can go find my notes, but I know we were concerned about the wetlands at that point too. So,
I think it was 2023.
was it 2023?
Yep.
Yeah.
December 20th, 2022 was one of the planning board meetings, and February 2023.
Okay.
And then the 2022 zoning board meeting was in March 2022. Conservation was 1/5/2023.
I mean, I drove through there this past weekend, it was like, to me, it looks like a war zone.
Unfortunate situation.
Right.
Kind of feel bad for the homes that are gonna go there that would have had woods but won't have woods now, but hopefully if we restore it, we'll be in good shape.
Can you go back to the pre-picture with the overhead with the trees?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's,
these darker trees are pine trees, and these lighter trees, they're leafy trees. So those are the oaks, and there are some smaller maples. But the lighter colored trees have leaves and they reflect the light. The darker ones are pines. So it's a mixture of pines and oak.
do you have the plan they submitted where they're gonna put the pine trees, the 24?
Do. It's right here. So this is that area 1 or A, I think it was 1 that I showed at the beginning. This doesn't show the whole area up here that was altered. But these are the 24 trees which are around the outside. And I'll let the engineer talk to this a little bit more, but that was the plan that was presented to us.
Insufficient.
I would say based off of that alone is why you have to have an independent go in there and come up with a remediation plan.
So I will say that because this is done in the wetlands, if you bring in heavy equipment to disturb the soil, like you can't pull the stumps.
It's
You can't-
already disturbed.
No, so.
No, but they
uh,
can't.
This was done, the trees were cut in the winter, okay? And so the soil was not disturbed and the stumps are still there. So there is some, red tape that's involved here, so you can't go in there with a backhoe and start planting trees in there. You
You have to
disturb the
use hand
soil.
tools.
Oh, well, they can wait till the winter.
Well, no, they drove over the ground in the winter without disturbing the soil, okay? When you start disturbing soil they need a dredge and fill permit, and, so there are, ramifications to putting in bigger.
This is what happens when you go around the rules.
Right, but I'm just letting you know that, there may be hand digging and, hand planting of trees or whatnot may be appropriate during the restoration. I am not a soil scientist, right, or landscape architect, but from what my research has led me to, that type of thing.
Is this the only infraction that's occurred at this building site?
No, there was a total of 4.
Yeah, so I did, put the cease and desist letter on the portal just, to answer that, question. We were addressing a number of issues, most of which have been, taken care of by now. So, we have received the bond, that was, one. We have received the building permits and they have been reviewed by the new building inspector. So I wanna just say, we had a fill-in contracted building inspector. We don't believe that created any issues, but now we have a building inspector on staff. He's actively involved in the project, so I believe you've spoken to him or your foremans have spoken to him. I would keep Ken right on your cell phone, and let him know of any issues at any time, any questions at any time. And then, it was the cutting issue. So it was lack of building permits, the lack of a bond, both which have been rectified.
Is there a bond for this?
There is not a bond for this. There is only the bond for the,
This is gonna be a lot bigger than the bond they have. My assumption, and this isn't my expertise, my assumption is the remediation of that is gonna be much larger than the bond that's in place today.
How much is the bond that's in place today?
75,000.
I mean, I think anything less than getting it back to what was agreed upon originally, meaning it's gonna be hard, you can't have all the old growth, but you gotta put the trees back that were there, at least the same kind of trees, following the guidelines that was approved by the planning board and by the zoning board with regards to those wetlands. That's where we should start. Because that's what was approved. And I think I heard the presentation from the conservation meeting, there was it was a mistake. Well, that's a big ass mistake,
Yep.
to take
That's
down all those
disregard.
growths, right,
Sorry, but that's disregard for the rules right there.
right.
At one point that George,
When was the black sheeting that, from what I understand, wasn't in the full amount, but when was, they had to go through that sheeting to pull those
The
trees?
screening, you talk about the
Screening, right?
That was put up after the fact.
After the fact.
Silt fence is supposed to be put up before, right?
I do not know the rules of when a silt fence I was told that the silt fence was put up afterwards. When I saw it, I assumed that they cut on the wrong side of the silt fence, but the silt fence, I guess, was put up afterwards.
Well, that would have been indicated you made a mistake, then why didn't you report it? Why did we have to find out about it? That self-reporting part is my other problem. You knew you made a mistake, but you didn't come forward and say it. You basically delayed your bond, you didn't do your permits, you made 3 strikes right there, and you didn't do anything to rectify it until you got called out for it.
So the black line that you see there on the right-hand side of the screen, that's the fencing, and then you can see the yellow line and the green line, that's the 50 and 75-foot setback. So what we requested in the conservation meeting is just get that fencing outside, that 50
Right.
and 75-foot
Right.
line, just so that this doesn't happen again.
Were there any trees that were supposed to be left that were left?
No.
Well, anything out,
Anything up in here?
anything, all those up in there, yeah, were left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you want to make sure those are protected going forward.
All those dots are tree stumps.
Yeah. Do you have an overlay of what they were originally approved?
Yes, I do. That is, of course I do.
And I did.
That's that right there.
So they were approved the yellow line?
So the yellow is so this may be slightly inaccurate by a few feet in either direction, but if this is what you're asking, John, the yellow line right there is this is the plan overlaid on top of the aerial map.
Okay.
And the yellow line is the 75-foot line, and this is just I think it was the landscaping plan that I took, the page, I can't remember what page it was.
Okay.
It's not the full plan, this is
So it
just-
may not be 100% accurate, but it's close.
Mr. Chairman, will we have an opportunity just to clarify some of these points?
Yeah, I'll give you an opportunity.
Thank you.
I don't have to. Okay.
Good?
Yep.
All right.
So we'll let them come forward and,
Mind leaving that plugged in?
Yep.
So you can
Battery might
some
die
of
on you,
those.
so you gotta. Okay, I'll try to unplug it in.
Good evening,
good evening.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, my name's Chad Brannon. I'm a civil engineer and principal owner with Fieldstone Land Consultants. With me tonight is Robert Best with Sulloway and Hollis. He's the project counsel. And we wanted to come here tonight to really address some of the, questions that the board may have, talk about the Conservation Commission meeting and what our actions have been, to this point to try to address the letter that was issued on May 5th, 2016, relative to this project. Put this up there, I suppose. So our firm has been involved in the project ever since Patriot Holdings and Olson's Mobile Home Park LLC purchased this site. This property has been a massive cleanup effort and huge investment this entire time. I think, the way it was stated is correct. This isn't the cutting of this peninsula, which is exactly really what it is an extremely unfortunate. Basically, the limit of clearing comes around this area. There's impacts that were approved into that 50-foot buffer. The stormwater management area is all in that buffer. So the plan that was up isn't real representative of what was approved versus what was cut. Without question, there is a significant area that was cut that wasn't supposed to be. And that's the area that's hatched here on our plan. There was another area that was raised by the Conservation Commission up here that we agreed to take a look at and include in an updated restoration plan. What I want to start out by addressing is our involvement in this project. As soon as this letter was issued, my clients called me and said, hey, we need your assistance in addressing something that's been, brought to our attention. We immediately got involved. We immediately set up a meeting with the chair of the Conservation Commission and Ms. McGiven. We had a meeting, and at that initial meeting, we talked about how do you keep people out of the buffer. I mean, clearly, if you look at the photos, the mature trees were cut. There really wasn't any understory. There was a lot of pine trees in there. I understand there was a mix of, a few species, now that we've talked about it more. And so our initial focus was, let's reestablish this buffer line. That's why you're seeing 24 trees and 20 to 25 signs around the perimeter of the approved impact. We had talked at the last meeting at the Conservation Commission meeting about there needing to be some infill vegetation. Other things that we talked about was, the project's history The fact that the soils aren't disturbed is a good thing. And we talked about, we actually all had an opportunity, because it was daylight too, that, you know, the vegetation that you see out the window behind you is 3 years of Mother Nature, you know, allowing an area to restore. So it's not that we're trying to discount the impact, we're trying to work with everybody on coming up with a reasonable solution for this mitigation. Now, with that said, the Conservation Commission did mention, you know, we may send this out for a third party. We asked them for an opportunity to, you know, take another, you know, attempt at the restoration plan. So what I did, and I just explained to you how we came up with this plan, with the mindset that we want to reestablish the buffer, the boundary, and ensure that there's no further impact in the area. We consulted with a landscape architect, and they recommended eastern white pines as the species that's going to be most successful and, you know, grow the fastest year after year in this location, which is why we proposed 24 species. The reason for the number just has to do with when you contemplate what a mature, you know, tree is going to look like over time, even if they're topped after, you know, the first 10 or 15 feet, just to get more bushing, if you will. You know, you try to locate those about 35, you know, feet or so apart. And that's how we came up with, you know, this orientation. And then we put signage along that perimeter as well that says wetland buffer, do not disturb. This was our initial attempt. You know, this was us trying to come to the table as fast as possible, you know, addressing the situation. We do understand that the commission's looking for some additional infill plantings, and so we do plan on continuing our efforts and working with them to move forward. One of the things that we talked about at the meeting, and the, you know, the commission's been great to work with so far, is that, you know, there appears to be two distinct things going on, right? This limited clearing, the line that was laid out, you know, wasn't followed, and it takes very little amount of time, unfortunately, to cut an area like this. But basically, you know, when it was cut in the winter, they just went straight across, and they didn't recognize somehow that, you know, this was a peninsula. When it's all white, it all looks, you know, close. So if they saw a flag here and a flag, you know, along the line, I don't know exactly how it happened. We were not out there. We did not lay out the limit of clearing, our office anyways, but it got cut, you know, nonetheless. But that was a logging, you know, situation. There was no soil disturbance, thank God, so there's no wetlands violation, there's no, you know, violations from an alteration of terrain standpoint. So we're at least able to address that, you know, locally, and, you know, is there a better plan where, we can work towards that. But you have the tree cutting, and then you have the construction. And given the project's history and the, you know, we had illegal septic lagoons out here that got closed out. There was, you know, municipal water or natural water improvements. There was a sewer system, a whole new sewer system, massive investment into this site. Not to mention, you know, in this same vicinity, if we go back to like pictures from 2020, 21, 22, you're going to see 15 to 20 trailers. It was a junkyard out back there. Now, I'm not discounting what was done for the cutting, but I'm just trying to say, like, our clients have put a huge amount of effort into cleaning this property up. We're asking for a little concession on working, you know, with us here in distinguishing between the construction, because the construction, we really need to work on getting the construction going again, in parallel with us working with the commission on this. And with your board, you know, certainly. And so our hopes tonight was to make sure that we've addressed those 4 items with the understanding that we're not done. We're going back before the commission with a revised plan. We've reached out to the county forester at their request at the meeting last week. And we plan on, coming forward and working through a resolution here. But our construction windows are small. There's been a huge outlay on this project, and we do need to see the construction start too. And so we're hoping we can work together on that end. And so what's important and what I want to stress is that this was our first attempt based on our first meeting with two members of the Conservation Commission, where they said we're concerned about ensuring that there's no further impact and, get back to basically what the approved plan was. And so we focused on the border, with the understanding that, quite honestly, Mother Nature does the best job on restoring areas. It does take time, but we are willing, and we're working on right now a plan to augment that buffer area in that side, that hatched area, and certainly this additional area here, which the commission raised, and I think through our investigation, there is we would agree that there is some additional impact there as well, unfortunately. So, we wanted to come here tonight, explain, what's out here, how we're working, moving this forward, hoping that, the selectmen will lift the cease and desist order, with the understanding that all of the items, with the exception of this restoration plan, I think have been finalized, and that we are actively pursuing the appropriate plan for this area of the site.
So, I think the whole board knows what what that site looked like before. We all understand, because that's why we were happy to see it being taken over and being cleaned up. We agree there. But still, this mishap happened, right? So we're talking about 110 trees taken down within the scope, outside the scope you were allowed to do. How many trees are you gonna restore? Sounds like you're not putting 110 back into place, because you can't.
Well, we could do,
24
so there's certain things that we have to contemplate here. There was 110 mature trees. They're very
Yeah.
large trees. The site is very sandy, and there's not a very good water supply for watering trees. So we have to pick species that are drought.
It's wetlands.
It's not wetlands. It's upland buffer. There's a very small area.
I walked it, it was soaked.
There's a very small area in the center that's wet, but we can't plant in the wetlands. And so we have to pick an appropriate species. We were hoping to not do 110, because we thought that if we did mature trees, that we would allow areas for understory. We did submit a letter from a wetlands consultant addressing the functions and values of this area, and how, how cutting and forestry and things of that nature can provide a diversity and habitat and stuff like that. So if we come up with the right plan.
But you clear cut. You didn't groom it, you clear cut the whole space.
No, I don't think it was anybody's intention to do this. We're not
Well, I
defending
get
this
that.
cut.
I get that. So 24 trees is not, in my opinion, is not enough.
All right, we're coming back with
So-
a new plan.
Right, so I think my preference would be you're on hold until you come back with a plan that's acceptable, period. Because we've seen this game before where builders agree to do something and then all of a sudden not do it, and we're still trying to chase them around, try to get it done the right way.
So
I
what
think
we,
the track history that we have from the cease and desist is a perfect example.
Yeah.
They were building without permits.
Right.
well, I would like to address that in some extent. So the building permits were all filed. The building inspector I'm relaying this based on what was shared with me. The building inspector that you had on an interim basis wanted everything in hard copy. It ended out having to be uploaded into the portal, so there was a lot of back and forth on the process. I think the only thing that was holding up the issuance in the end before this letter was written was the bond. It took a long time for the bonding to be posted. So there is it's either a $65,000 or a $75,000 bond. The town has huge leverage on this project. I would suggest, if nothing else, you could stipulate that no certificate of occupancies would be issued until, a restoration plan is approved. That at least allows the construction to move forward. It allows the mobile homes that are sitting on site to be weather tight. The issue is these homes, when they get delivered, they need to be put together in order for them to be weather tight. So there's a lot at risk right now, and we would prefer to see, your leverage at least shifted where it could be function of holding back certificate of occupancies until we have, that restoration plan appropriately, submitted. We're working as fast as we can at this point on this. I mean, we got the letter in May. We've had, 2 meetings now with members of the commission, 1 formal meeting, where we've taken their instruction. We're working on a modified plan. We look forward to going back to their meeting. I think it's June 2nd, or is it June 2nd?
July
July.
July.
9th, July 9th. And so, things are moving, but if we stop construction, the best case scenario is mid-July? These are valuable weeks. And so we're asking for some concession.
If I could offer just a little bit more. Again, my name is Bob Best, and I'm just the legal counsel when it got its approval from the planning board and the zoning board. And I do remember you being there at the zoning board. And I probably mentioned there, because I don't keep it a secret, that I live in Merrimack, right across the river, and I was the planning board chair in Merrimack for 15 years until last summer. And so I've been on that side of the table, and fortunately hadn't had a situation like this. But it is your response, Mr. Perry, is exactly right. It's anger, it's frustration with what happened, and there's no excuse for it. I don't even have an ability to explain how you make a mistake like this. And so that is the right response to make, and they deserve it. But here, in terms of when the letter was issued and when Chad got involved, and now I'm involved with it, the intention is to immediately enact as quickly as we can to fix it to your satisfaction and to the satisfaction of the Conservation Commission. And I think the one thing that I want to catch and emphasize from the message from the chair of the Conservation Commission was his comment that he said that the commission believes that they're acting in good faith to fix this, and we are. We're committed to doing that. We're local people. We appear before your boards at different times, and even some of the owners have roots in this community. It doesn't do away with the mistake or some of these other things that were in the cease and desist letter. But there is certainly a lot of good faith effort going into the property to keep it going, and keeping some of the buildings weather tight as they're delivered, and keeping some development together. Ultimately, whatever the number of trees needs to be to satisfy people will be the answer. There is some science that goes into it, and choosing the right ones to put and where to put them and how do you plant them and how fast do they grow and that sort of thing. If that takes outside consultation, then so be it. If we can answer it with another review, I think that saves everybody some energy that can be put into plants rather than the benefit of an architect's fee. But that's the reason for the concession. These guys get it, and trust me, there's no shortage of reading the riot act that came from me and Chad to them as well for what the heck did you do? And I don't have an explanation for it. I can't explain. Chad speculated maybe there was a flag here, a flag there, but it still doesn't make sense to me. It probably doesn't make sense to you how it happened.
No, it doesn't.
It happened. And so where do we go from here?
I was hoping when he pulled that out, that in between conservation meeting and now, you had a little bit more generous proposal for us, whereas you were gonna flag so many dollars, that you were gonna guarantee that you would put towards it, that you were gonna say yes, that 24 trees was too little. But what I got is another picture of the development, so that was tough. I was really looking forward to hoping that you were bringing something forward.
Well, we met
More
with them
than
on
that.
Thursday night.
Right.
We met with
It's
them.
Monday.
We met with them on Thursday night, and we agreed to get the county forester involved, and
Okay,
Um,
it's Monday.
I appreciate that statement. I agree.
All right, what's the board's desire?
I got a couple questions.
Go ahead.
What's a mature tree in your book?
What size
What
of
are
these
you
trees you're
proposing?
proposing, yeah?
We're proposing a 4-foot tall pine tree.
That's considered mature?
They grow about 2 foot a year, and they're a successful species. We normally consider anything between over 4 or around 6 to be mature in our field.
How many units do you have delivered that are not weather tight?
There's 2 on site.
On the question about the size of the trees, I've sort of faced that one lots of times where I'm like, well, 4 doesn't sound very mature or very big. Again, with this, where you're going to have to go to plant in a buffer zone, bigger tree is more disturbance, more equipment to try to plant, and these pine trees really do grow super fast, so they do.
You would need a permit and to do that. With the hand tools, you will not.
Well, certainly
Is
permits
what
are part of it in the hand
DES
tools.
said.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what DES said.
yeah, that's
EPA.
exactly right in terms of the permits and things, but also just in terms of not impacting the wetlands, less disturbance is
That's
better.
why.
I
But
mean,
we can't,
I've
we can't
planted
plant in
trees
the
in my
wetlands
house.
at all.
I've planted trees in my house
That's
where I
not
dug
correct.
by hand.
Yep.
They were 10 to 12 foot,
Well, that's not what they told me.
4 to 5 inches round.
What kind of tree was it, though?
Well, it's a cherry tree.
Well, it doesn't grow that big, though.
Say that again?
It doesn't grow that big. or
No, I
tall.
know, but I'm saying, like, how is my measure of mature
Yeah, I
10 to
get you.
12 feet and theirs is 4? It just seems drastically different, but that's an opinion-based question, really.
The other part to that, sir, if you don't mind me just addressing that, when you get into larger, plants, like the trees, the species react in a more volatile way to being planted. So they typically need a lot more water, a lot more maintenance. And so the goal is to come up with a plan that's going to be successful. And so is it between what we're talking about? Maybe, but 12-foot tree is, the root ball on that would be very large.
Too big. So, if you don't plant it though, isn't there gonna be a problem with invasives coming in? Because we have problems with some invasives in town like every other town.
We didn't see
Now
any.
you're outside my scope.
We didn't see
Can we get
any
a
invasives in this
can we get a
area.
yeah, but can we get a conservation opinion on that?
Clear cut.
Well, even in the
Oh, is
perimeter.
there's invasives all over the place in that end of town.
Yeah,
There's
bittersweet,
bittersweet,
yeah.
there's knotweed, there's
On,
burning bush.
on site in that area though, in the
Not
vicinity?
yet.
George and I were next door this weekend doing a site walk on the property right next door, and there were plenty of burning bush down there.
Right, but the question is there burning bush or bittersweet there now? Probably not, because it was a mature forest and there was not enough light in there for them to grow, so they could start to seed now, this season, but I don't think there's anything in there at the moment
We,
that I saw.
and we
But
have.
It could be.
Thank you. We have talked about, and the commission actually requested, one of the things we look at is a maintenance plan to make sure that, this is successful and that it's monitored. We could look at a maintenance plan that addresses invasives in this area as well. And that's kind of common in restoration or replication areas, to your point. It's a great question.
So it sounds like we need to let them go work their registration plan to meet our satisfaction, right? So 24 trees is not enough. We gotta figure that out differently. Do we all, you can't continue the way you've been continuing, period. So I think the suggestion of holding back all COs until you get this resolved or have a plan that's been signed off and all the requirements met, and do we even think about a bond to ensure that it gets met and that it actually survives?
I think there should be a bond for the restoration.
That's why I'm throwing it out there. There should be a bond, I think so too, because if you plan it also, 2 years later they die or whatever the bond will do to help
Oh,
us.
absolutely.
I'm in the belief that, I believe they have good faith at this point. They're
Yes.
going to do the right thing. I don't believe we should hold up the construction, and we should allow the units to be, continued to be,
Weather tight and all that.
Weather tight and
That's why I
placed
said
on
CO,
spot.
made the COC restriction.
yeah, and then I like the idea of restricting the occupancy permits until the conservation is happy with the,
I like the
with
bond.
long-term plan. A bonding may be another solution. I just don't think we should hold the construction up, because that's a lot of money involved. They are doing they admitted we were in the wrong, we're gonna do the right thing. This gentleman is definitely willing to work with the conservation. I think we could move forward.
Well, so this can go two ways.
Mhm.
If you open up the construction again, they might be more reserved when they come back to conservation in July. Because you've already opened their window back up. Okay? If you don't open it back up, they're probably gonna come in a little bit more aggressive to try to make sure that they win their approval.
Well, it would be
No
dependent
CO,
on
no
another.
COs, they can't sell the units, so they have no COs.
And another cease and desist can immediately be implemented.
There's a lot of leverage that the town has available to it with the COs, because then you've got investment where you've paid for all those units that can't be
Sitting there.
dealt with and sold, so there's huge leverage with that. But also, in addition to the ideas that have already been discussed, I know that the Conservation Commission is likely on a monthly meeting schedule, but regular check-ins, even like a weekly update or a report on what's been accomplished in the last handful of days over various parts of this where that's important, can easily be done to make sure there's, regular communication, nothing gets stagnant, nothing gets sort of fall between the cracks kind of a thing. I think there really is truly a commitment to work through this and to get to a resolution. I certainly don't have any instructions to come here and oppose a bond if a bond is part of what has to happen. I don't know how you determine the amount. There used to be a number that DES had for how much does it cost to restore an acre of forest land or wetlands and things. It's a number, I don't know what it is, but if that's what the plan is or that's what has to be done, then so be it.
I think it's reasonable to allow them to finish the units that are on site so that they're watertight.
Right.
So that they don't lose anything in their investment that's already there. That's as far as I'm willing to go,
Well, would you
before July.
allow them to watertight them and continue the construction of those existing buildings?
Those two units.
Okay.
And not bringing anything else on site?
Nothing else comes on site until we get this resolved.
What's your
At least our
schedule
approved
to
plan.
when you're bringing in more?
It'd be late, fall.
But more than the two that are there? No, when would you bring?
When's the
bring
next delivery scheduled?
Of units?
I don't have any scheduled for right now,
Okay,
so we're concentrating on these first six.
okay.
Oh, you have six
So is
there.
there 6?
Well,
or
there's
2?
some already on site.
That aren't weather tight.
Okay,
Yeah, there's, the original
And
ones
there's
that were there.
four
but
more
not
that are
much.
there.
Yeah.
okay.
But are they done, their construction's done? Those
So
other
th- So
four?
they're weather tight, yes.
Is there more construction that needs to be done on them?
There is building decks.
There's decks, stuff like that.
So the modular homes, they come in a trailer tray
Yeah, I
pieces.
know.
Right now, there's 2 units that are sitting and all they
Yeah,
have
they
is
came in like 2
And that
weeks.
needs-
Tyvek.
yeah, those-
They came in 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah. So it'd be nice to be able to allow them, put them on the pad, connect them, seal them up. And that'll be a total of 6 units sitting.
Yeah. So I think weekly check-ins with the building inspector on the progress, what's going on down there. COs are on hold until we get this restoration plan agreed to and agreed to, with potential bond. We don't know what that's gonna be yet. We'll have to figure that out. So this way, you can protect your investment you already have today. You can continue the efforts you already have in the existing 6 sites you have. But until we get the plan, there's nothing else comes on site, and you won't get any COs until it gets resolved. That'd be my suggestion.
I just have one last thing to say on this, and that is that one of your investors is a really prominent person in our town that I do trust completely, that has
I
done a
do.
lot for
Me too.
our community.
I got it.
I've seen him do above and beyond. Him, not the company, but it makes me feel like he will hold your feet to the fire to hopefully take care of the problem.
Thank you for noticing and mentioning. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that that's involved, but to your point, that person is a resident and they care about what goes on in town. I don't think
He's
they
cared
wanna get
about the
wrong,
town forever.
so- Right, so I think we're being reasonable to allow you to continue with what you've got. You have to meet with the commission, Conservation Commission on the 8th meeting with your plan. I would rather see us not go back and forth on this plan. Come in heavy if you have to, figure it out,
Generous,
right?
be generous.
And I think we should figure out what we would put up, if we were gonna put a bond on it, what that bond should be. And have that number before, at our next meeting, so we can, I think we have to kind of make a statement on it, right? We have to approve the bond, or at least the request of the bond, right? The board does?
Yeah.
So-
Wouldn't be planning at this point.
So, I would start, and if you want to communicate with the commission, I think they're open to it, obviously. I would communicate with the chair and just keep on updating on your progress as you get to the 8th meeting, and we'll have our building inspector do weekly inspections and meet up with your foreman down there to make sure things are progressing the way they're supposed to progress, and there's no other infractions.
Thank you for that. Can I ask a couple of questions about the bond? So,
We don't know anything about it.
yeah, I know we don't know anything, but just, so typically for a bond, you got two areas where you're targeting. One is, what does it cost to complete whatever you promised to complete? And you've set a bond amount for that. And then, once completion occurs, then you sort of say, well, what do we need to hold aside to make sure the thing survives for 2 years and doesn't fall apart? And those are different numbers, and there's ways that we can figure it out. I assume that's what we're aiming for with this bond.
That's
So
what
if we
that would be aiming for, yeah.
figure it out based on those kinds of costs, whatever those are. And then I think with this, if there's an approved plan, actually executing it should happen fairly quickly. It's not like we'll do this in a year or something like that, because you guys wouldn't let us, but, so the length of a bond that you need for the actual performance is probably a short time frame.
Yep.
I don't know how long it takes to.
We'll
plant
figure all those mechanics
bunch of
out over the
trees.
next few weeks, but I think you have to figure out, sharpen up your pencils and figure out what that restoration really looks like that's gonna meet what you heard today.
And then what meeting can we be back before? I mean, we know we're meeting with the Conservation Commission on July 8th, and we intend to address their concerns and questions, with strength at that meeting. When can we be back before this board?
July 13th is our first meeting in July.
Yep.
5 days later, just the same Thursday to Monday.
Yep.
Yeah.
We meet one more time in June, but other than us maybe having what we think a bond should look like, again, you can communicate with the commission and the town administrator, get any facts. If you have a restoration plan you're gonna propose, get it out to us, we can look at it and provide some feedback, I guess.
The
Can
Board
make
of
the bond
Selectmen
be part
meets-
of that,
Board of
what you're presenting as.
Board of Selectmen meets twice a month on Mondays.
Yeah.
The second, fourth Monday?
Right, fourth Monday. So we meet again in June, sorry.
June, yeah.
Can I just ask, Mr. Chairman, and members, if we are able to come to an agreement with the commission, do you think that this board would agree to that? I ask that only because, do you think there's an advantage to us coming before you at your next meeting and sharing a progress plan or any dialogue that we've had? And then we're not looking to take the commission out of the review, but we want to be as productive as we can in a short
Well,
window.
I think we'll lean heavily on the commission's decision
Are
too,
you
so.
saying our next meeting
Yeah.
in June?
Yeah.
If you want to see,
No,
if
I'm
you
asking,
want.
is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if you want to see progress, we're happy to share with you what we have at your next meeting. I just wanted to offer that.
As much as I do like that, I almost would rather them see the conservation first.
Yeah.
So that they can come and
Be supportive.
tell us that they're happy or not.
But I like your
Because we might
spirit.
look at it and
That's what I'm looking for.
they're actually gonna be looking for a specific species on some of these plants. We wouldn't know that.
And not to speak for the commission, but, I mean, if they're inclined, they can always call a special meeting too. But that's up, you have to have all your i's and t's dotted and crossed, and they're willing to take that extra time, otherwise they're gonna hold you off to July. So, again, I would just suggest that, after we make our motion to freeze your COs and hold you to this restoration plan to be forth to the commission, you could work with the commission as best you can.
I'd like to ask too about, without having the construction moving forward, outside of attaching these last buildings, securing the last buildings, what kind of delay is this going to do to your group? If you said you weren't gonna order more until fall, what is is there a lead time? How much of an impact is this delay going to have on this project?
It's a significant impact. So we're concentrating on these first 6 lots. In phase 1, there's actually 10 lots.
Okay,
Identify himself.
Yeah, please, if you can identify yourself.
I'm John Heavysides. I work for Patriot Holdings.
Okay.
Their superintendent. I've been involved with the project for 3 years, actually, before I came to work for them. I actually submitted bids for another company to do the work. In phase 1, there's 10 lots. We're concentrating on, as you drive in on the left-hand side of the road, there's six lots there. So we're focusing on getting those 6 lots completed, get the grass planted, so everything's stabilized before we get in the fall. Obviously, the more growth that we get, the better it's gonna be. And then on the right-hand side of the road, there's 4 more lots there. So once we had the first 6 lots, completed, landscape, and we're gonna move over to and get the last 4 in,
In order of
which would be, early fall probably.
Yeah, and I'm suggesting holding back COs, they can continue construction or any other works they gotta do on those 6 lots.
Well, I'm saying,
As long as they have permits and stuff, they pulled all the right stuff.
how about if, I'd be more inclined to allow phase 1 to be focused on it as they continue. They have 6 now, they'll have 4 more come in. So they'll be continue to have work through the fall, and at the same time, they're going to still focus on.
Yeah, I don't think we want any more,
We want to hold it at 6.
that's why I think we're saying hold off on the additional
Okay.
pre-builds. Let them finish what they have.
Right.
To be honest with you, it feels like if you come forth in July with a plan and we have a timeline that's gonna get done, I'm sure we're gonna lift any other restrictions other than maybe this, we may hold the CO a little longer, but I mean, I don't know, we gotta see the plan first. Yes?
So I just wanted, for clarity, so this would be so we have leach field that has to be installed. So obviously, you're freezing the C of O, but we can continue to do the landscaping, get those lots completed.
That's my suggestion. The rest of the board have to weigh in on it. That's my motion would have been, we're freezing your COs. If you have valid permits and you pulled the permits and you continue with the project you already have, we do not want to see any more new units brought onto the site until we get to work through this issue. Right?
Can they continue though, like, he's saying there's 6 lots that they're gonna have, then how about the other 4 will probably have its own septic? Can they still work on the site work?
Yeah, as long as they're not bringing the building in.
As long as there's no buildings.
You
Okay.
can do all the site work.
How long does it take to order them? Like if you order them in July,
6 to 8 weeks is
Yeah.
usually what the turnaround is from when we order them till they're delivered.
I'm hopeful that we're past this issue in July and you can continue your schedule, but I don't know.
That makes sense. It sounds like you guys.
I do want to open the floor. It looks like there's some public in the room. I don't know if anyone wants to speak to the Olson project at all. I'm willing to hear.
Dana,
Yeah, come up, Dana.
I'm one of the,
Just for the, state your name, first name, last name, and address.
Dana Boucher, 104 Pine Crest.
Thank you, Dana.
I'm one of the owners. We never had any intention, that was a complete mistake.
Yeah.
And between me and my son, we've spent probably $2.5 million in that project, and we would never intentionally do something like that. It was, it was a total mistake. It wasn't, and it should have been brought to your attention sooner. But we didn't, we try to do the right thing. We've spent probably $200,000 just cleaning in there, and it's just it was a mistake.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate mistake, and
And we'll rectify it.
right, I know you will.
When I built my storage facility, all that was required for the south side of that storage facility was a fence. I spent $65,000 on, making that right, so it looked good for the town. So I'm just saying that, you will get, you'll get a real good job on that, on bringing,
The restoration.
restoration, restoring that whole piece of property. I'll guarantee it.
Okay.
thank you, Dana.
Anybody else? Okay. All right. I think we,
Question. This one's for you. If we raise cease and desist at all, does that nullify it?
No.
Or can we just postpone it for them to do the work to weather tighten the units they have on site? until like, say, July 9th, or whenever they're coming in, July 13th, or whatever it is. Can we do that, or what happens there technically?
You can alter it, like you can issue other instructions.
Right.
And allow them to continue as long as there are permits. That brings up my next question.
Right.
So the numbers I'm hearing in this room tonight are not the numbers I'm hearing from my building inspector. So I'm gonna request respectfully that we sit down. And we ensure, because I've heard throughout this, and not just our contracted inspector, going back to our previous inspector, I have heard complaints about not having well-developed plans. So back to the decks and things of that sort, right? I mean, that was 2 years ago that we were talking about that. So let's sit down, let's really open up our line of communication, make sure we're giving you everything you need and you're giving us everything we need, so that we don't get in this situation again. But I think that takes some dialogue, because I don't wanna hear different numbers from my building department and different numbers here. It leaves me very uneasy. And I don't wanna have any issues. I think this is a good project. I think we need to get it completed, and we certainly don't wanna hurt your bottom line.
Thank you for that. It's a good suggestion.
Are you referring to the number of building permits? Okay, so there's, so we had addresses for 5 of the 6 lots that we wanted to work on. So there's, for 5 of those homes, the building permits have been submitted. The 6th home, so there was a duplicate address. So we're gonna have 2 lots that had the same address, which I worked that out with Captain Kelly. He, that is now gonna be 6 Gallo. And he said he was gonna let you know, but at that time, we didn't know what that address was gonna be.
So that are held up the six,
So
you submitted the
That,
6
so that held up the 6th one, so.
Alright.
Good.
Instead of hashing out the rest of the
Yep.
technical issues here,
Yeah.
as our town administrator has asked, get an appointment up with the building inspector and the town administrator. Let's work out any open issues that they have to clarify as part of this motion we're gonna make. So, Mr. Leary, you have a question?
Yeah, I'll tell you, until I heard Dana get up and speak, I was ready to shut the whole thing down. Dana is somebody I've known my entire life. I know he's respectful, I know he's honest, and if he says he's gonna fix it, he's gonna fix it. But I do think, like he said, something was done. A mistake was made, and at least he owned it. I think everything else has been lip service. But I think Dana was honest, he took it on the chin, you know, and he owned it, which, you know, I respect the hell out of him for that. I think that, there has to be a bond, and I think the bond's gotta be significant, okay? Because if Dana was to tell me he's gonna go there every day and make sure everything's good, I'd be okay with it, but he's not running the site. Okay, so I do think the bond needs to be significant. And the other thing that we haven't even discussed, and Kim, this is a question for you, for all that wood that was cut, is there a timber tax? Because
There should have been.
cut a lot of
It was.
land.
Yes, there was, sir. Yes.
Okay. I'm okay with letting them go and get the buildings tightened up and all that and do what they gotta do. And again, I trust Dana on his word that he'll make sure it's right. So I'm okay with it.
Okay. So I'm gonna make a motion that we allow the continuation of all the site work with phase 1. We allow the buttoning up and construction of the existing 6 buildings, including the new one that went there. You can proceed with decks and all the things you need to do. We're gonna hold back the certificate of occupancies until we get resolution to this problem with the wetlands. And that's gonna require you to meet with our building inspector, with our commission, with a plan forth by, we'll call it their July meeting. We will apply a bond, or we need to apply a bond, that amount will be determined the amount will be determined when we come to a final agreement. So, I don't think I'm missing anything else. I think that's everything, right? What do you think?
I don't like it.
I know you don't, but-
Go ahead.
Good way for discussion.
okay,
Are you done?
I'm done. I'm now looking for a second.
I'll give you a second for
All right,
discussion.
motion made by myself, seconded by Ms. Plansky. Discussion, Mr. Perry.
All right, so you said a whole phase one, that's 10 units.
Site work only.
Site work for
Site
10
work only
units.
for 10 units.
Buildings
They
on
can complete the
site.
6 buildings they have, they can do all the other construction required, to button it up, get it ready for sale, what all that is. We're holding back the certificate of occupancy. They can't sell it without it.
All right, so no new buildings.
No new buildings, yeah. If they rectify their problem and we get a plan in place and the bond's in place, we can release them, they can order the other buildings to fill out the rest of the four sites. But we're not delaying them cleaning up what they already have out there, which is a lot of work, and they can put the site work in of those other lots that are not, anything's there yet. So that means septic can go in, they can do all that pre-work. That's what I'm suggesting,
All right, I can agree with that.
okay?
You got set up a meeting with the building inspector and town administrator.
Yeah.
Establish a restoration bond to remediate the area.
A value not to be determined at a later date, yep.
Yep. Weekly check-ins with the building inspector.
Yep. Well, actually, I would suggest building inspector take a drive down there on a regular basis and meet with the foreman at a regular set time.
Resolve any owed timber tax prior to July 13th meeting.
We'll add that as an amendment.
Has that already been paid, Kim?
The timber tax?
The timber tax has been paid. It's already been processed.
Okay, so you already paid it, so we're okay there.
Yeah.
So we're okay there. So no amendments, everything's okay.
Well, what I added.
What'd you add?
Where'd you at?
You didn't add it, we already did it.
We had it.
The weekly check-ins with the building
Yeah, that's
inspector.
already there, yeah.
Okay.
All right. All those in favor, Mr. Leary,
Aye.
Mr. Gannon,
All right,
I'm an aye, Mr. Perry.
Aye.
I'm an
Plansky,
aye.
aye. Okay, motion passes 5-0-0.
And we will have a spot on the agenda on the 13th, July, for
Yep.
them to come in and give us an update.
But we expect to hear something from the commission that they in agreement, and we'll move forward from there.
I would reiterate that they would probably hold a special meeting or of as many of the commission as they could get together, if you could get this done quicker. Am I correct?
Communicate the commission as much as you can.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be open to it. I'll let them deal with it. It is summertime, so that's another issue.
I have one comment, I'm gonna come up to say, so it's on the mic. Sorry, George. This is just a personal opinion, so this is for Fieldstone. When you bring in the plan, we didn't discuss this, again, personal opinion, make sure you're bringing in a plan that focuses on habitat restoration. I did a quick analysis while I was sitting down there. Approximately 50% of the trees were pines and 50% are hardwoods. I would expect to see something similar. I would also expect to see low-level crops that you'd see in there, blueberry or whatever those pricker bushes are that are typically the understory. I would expect to see those. I would expect to see on the north area, the area that was cleared out, I would expect to see some sort of ground cover there. What I don't expect to see personally is just a few extra smattering of trees. I would like to see a real restoration plan. So that's my personal
And the
opinion.
commission has an opportunity to lay the way into that and make it happen.
Yep.
And again, I would suggest the commission, you already have a dialogue with them in the past, or you have them, I would communicate some requirements if you want.
Yeah, keep the communication.
Just keep the communications
We
open.
need to be careful because we can't communicate as a commission to them in between.
Understood.
Yeah, we have to meet together as a group to make our decisions, right? In the public, with meeting minutes and everything like that, so I can't make any decisions.
Just like we do.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the commission has a history of what is desired.
want.
I would suggest you suggest it, that's all.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, similar to what Jay just presented, and maybe more of what they may decide.
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck in the future.
Thanks for coming in.
All right, I'm gonna open the floor for public input at 7:51. Anybody from the public like to step forward? All right, I don't see anybody, so I'm gonna close public input at 7:52. Moving on to our agenda, the 250th committee event request. Ms. Kleiner,
Yes, so
Joe
I-
Stapleton, come on up.
There I am. How you doing? Joe Stapleton, 21 Mark Lane, treasurer of the 250th committee. So I'm here tonight because Kim has asked me to present to you some requests for payments and so forth. So what I have done as the treasurer is try to make a one-stop thing. I'm the only one that's going to make the request. I will give you the invoice of everything involved. I will give you receipts when they are available for certain event things. Kim has asked me for W-9s. I will get them from all of the folks that we need them from. I will get insurance certificates from all of them, so that you'll have all of that. What I'm trying to prevent is having you come every time to ask for money. I can submit it to Kim. She can just give it to you on your agenda. You can look them all over and possibly approve it. I will have all of this paperwork, electronic and hard copy, so that when the auditors come in, they can come directly to me. Now, I've been a town treasurer, I've been trustee of trust funds, and I know what auditor paperwork they need. So I'm completely familiar with that. So what I've done is I've got different things here tonight. One of the things that did happen, the Historical Society brought in last Tuesday. They had an event at the church, which they requested payment, which we received monies as a donation for. They thought the amount was going to be $650. They lowered the amount because it turned out to be only $342. So I have the request for that complete. What I do is I give you that. There's no invoice from the LHS because they're paying it from theirs, but what I have from them is an approval from the minutes to pay them. But the minutes only show the $650, so I'd like to update that in our next meeting to show the exact amount. All right? The stage that we're getting, I sent the process out for the W-9 and the insurance certificate and the dollar amount from the minutes of the meeting, and that will all be attached. All right? We have an entertainer coming in, Samantha Ray, and I have out to Mr. Burns, is it?
Chris Burns?
Chris Burns. He's going to get me an invoice and a W-9, and I don't think we need an insurance from her, do we, for her entertaining? Okay, so I'll have that for you. Again, I keep it all nice and neat and full. I do have one that our chairperson did go and get the flyers, and I have some here that you see, not the ones that are in the mail, and I'd like to give each of you one that she had done that we pass out, okay, if I may? Okay, you have one ready, Diane?
I got one, yeah.
So, these ones here, I actually PDF'd them myself, so they're a little bit different from what actually was printed. And I'd like to submit a bill for her to be reimbursed. And that was, last meeting, our minutes got messed up, so I'm gonna have to resubmit that with current minutes coming up on our next meeting, so I'll have that ready for Kim. And I can bring all that in if that's okay with you all.
Can I ask, rather than every 2 weeks, them have to come in to ask the board for permission, would it be possible for Kim and I to make that decision? Is there a way to do that?
First off, I'm kind of confused. Do we have to approve every one of them? We gave them the allocation for funding,
Yeah.
right?
No, the Board of Selectmen is the agent to expend.
But we can do it but we can pay out of our, I don't know, out of our budget and then refund the budget if we had to, right? So you can process it all yourself?
They have the money.
The money's coming in, right?
So the money is coming in, the money is going into the 275th account, essentially called the 275th account, that is held by the treasurer. That's where the money is going. I would be very.
Can the board give us permission?
uncomfortable with, intertwining the money between the fund held by the treasurer and our general fund.
Right.
So we really shouldn't expend from our
We shouldn't
general
have to,
fund
there's
for
that,
this.
there should be plenty of money in that account.
Absolutely, they've done a wonderful job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're over 24,000 in there now.
We just get
And we
another
got more
4.
payments coming in, which will bring us to our budgeted amount. What I'm suggesting is that I don't have a problem submitting it to Kim, who can put it on your agenda for the next meeting to approve it. That way you get to look at it, but me coming every time to ask you, when it's just a simple thing.
Right,
I
you
can-
don't have to, right.
Yeah, we don't want you to.
That's basically what I'm doing. I'll send all the documents to you if you'd like it electronically. I will do that with Kim and paper. And so if you want to look at something, you have all that information. She can say, hey, Joe sent me all these for approval for these payments. You say yes or no, and then she just cuts the check.
So if Kim came to me on that one, is opposed to
No,
going to the whole board?
The board has to approve it.
The whole board?
That's what
Okay.
that's what it says.
Yeah, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with any of that. I just, I want to make it fast and easy for everybody. And I know what paperwork auditors need. That's the one that's the final say. And I've done it before with the town auditors, so I know what they want.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to bring Joe's paperwork. I've
Excellent.
worked with Joe for a while, he's fantastic.
Thank you.
Excellent, okay.
Okay.
What if they need a check, like, done between the 2 weeks, though?
I've been explaining to all the vendors that this is a town process and that's how it's going to
That's
be.
not gonna happen.
It's not
Okay.
going to happen, so they don't expect.
It's gonna happen, but okay.
But they'll get paid. As a matter of fact, a couple of vendors already understand that. They
Yeah.
said, not a problem.
Okay.
So, yeah, so,
So could we, this evening, at least make a motion, if you're comfortable, for the 1,579, for the event
Nikki?
stage?
yep.
The Litchfield Historical Society, and I'm sorry, Joe, did you say 325? That.
Well, it's 342.50. It shows 650 on there, but I don't have the minutes. I'm gonna send you new minutes from the meeting coming up, so you'll have, so the auditor has approval from the board or the committee that says they approved a 342. I don't have, show it 650 for me. Yeah,
342
50, yep.
and 50, and,
$1,000 for Samantha
yeah,
Ray.
in 7-Eleven.
Well, that one there, we can hold off on because Chris Burns is getting all the other information. She does not expect a check till that evening, so there's
Okay.
not a rush on that one.
Okay.
Okay?
At least those two, and I have two others. So we processed the flyers that went through Allegra. And so I included that in your portal. That was $1,045. And then the mailing of those was $831.40. So those are sitting on my credit card.
Right, and for I'm
On
gonna
your
take that.
credit card?
Oh, the
I'm
town
gonna
credit
take
card.
that out
Okay.
of our marketing budget.
Thank you.
Because we budgeted for 5,000 or 6,000, so I know how much we have left. And that's what I was gonna ask you, what that dollar amount.
Yes, so
Okay, great, thank you.
1,045 and 831.40.
Got it, thank you.
So
That's
if we could have a motion for those, then we're all set, and as Joe needs it, we'll get it to him. And I'm sure finance would like to process my,
So that's a total of 3797.90.
47,97.90.
3797.90.
47.
That's including the singer.
47? Oh no, I didn't include this
you
singer.
don't include,
Don't include it, because we're still in the process. Thank you.
37,
97.90.
37,97.90.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Aye.
All right, roll call vote. Mr. Larry?
Hi, but I have a question for Joe after.
All right, Mr. Gannon?
Aye.
I'm an aye.
Yes.
Perry?
Oh, yes, sir.
Motion passes 5-0-0. Mr. Larry, your question for Joe?
Yeah, hey, Joe, I got that flyer in the mail the other day. It's very nicely done. It showed a
Thank
beautiful
him.
picture of a town hall, but it wasn't Litchfield. What the hell?
I know, I know.
That's Kim. No.
That's Kim!
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Want a picture of the town hall? I got plenty of them.
yes. And not only that, I heard from the veterans this afternoon, I didn't put their QR code on. So, to everybody listening, if you need tickets for the baseball, please come see me. We have the QR codes. We will get you tickets.
Yeah,
My apologies.
we probably should have put the vendors on that too, and I didn't think about it
One
until it was
comment on
actually
your,
at my
um,
house.
Room for every-
The companies in this town have really stepped up to support this event, and they've given till it hurts in so many places that we should have done that too on that, but it didn't hit me until I saw it. There's so many pieces that are in motion in this event, and so many people working so hard. I missed it, so.
So I notice on your spreadsheet that you have one vendor that contributed $3,000 twice. Is that correct, or is that a mistake?
Yes, yeah, that's coming in, and
Right,
well, there'll be one more $3,000
So
from that particular
6,000
vendor.
total?
9,000 total.
Yeah,
9,000
from
total.
the one particular
Yeah, people are
vendor?
giving till it hurts. We appreciate you so much, the businesses that are in this town. Small amount of businesses, huge amount of impact.
Yep.
Anything else, Joe?
No, that's all I got, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you coming forward.
Thankfully, this was an easier one than what you just had before.
Yeah, that one took a little longer than I thought it was gonna take.
Years ago, I sat on that side,
know.
so I know what it's like.
All right.
God bless you all.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have cash receipts policy. It's our first read. Ms. Kleiner.
Thank you, Joe.
First read,
Thank you.
You did just approve this, policy last fall. But we've had a few issues. And mainly, I think I pointed out, it's the highlighted issue, areas of the policy that are being questioned. Currently, we receive checks, and the issue is mostly the checks that are received at the transfer station, right? So these are checks that may be, $10, $25, or disposing of a mattress, or, they're down over the hill where we may have a very part-time attendant who is taking the check. There seems to have been a shift in our culture, so a lot of people don't have home phones anymore. They only have their cell phone. I'm guilty.
Me too.
And so they may not be as quick to share those phone numbers, and our people have experienced some pushback. They are Litchfield residents, and there's a Litchfield address. They're making sure that the address on the check is Litchfield. But they're not putting a phone number, and our policy requires a phone number. To make it even a little bit more strengthened, further back in the policy, it says employees who do not comply with this policy shall be subject to disciplinary action. So that's making our very part-time employees at the transfer station uncomfortable. Of course, they want to follow the policies of the town, but they're facing significant pushback from our residents. So I asked finance, I wanted to know what the number of people are that have returned checks. And it's interesting that they only have the numbers in physical checks and ACH, right? So you can be doing an ACH online, registering your car online, and that might push back. That's in these numbers, and they don't have them separated out. 2024, 32, 2025, 42, 2026, 13 so far to date. The policy then further states that they will be called, and if they don't come in and within 24 hours, that a notice will go to the police department to be brought to them. I think that's a little overkill, to be sending our police officers to deliver without even sending a letter. Sometimes a good old letter through the postal system works.
Sufficient.
And these days, it's quite often, it's pretty hard not to get in touch with people. But I don't want our transfer station employees feeling uncomfortable or like they're violating policy and subject to discipline for not getting a phone number on a check. So I think it's up to the board. I do understand that the town clerk's office has the responsibility of going after, these funds. we're more than happy to help out on our side and do letters if, that would help. We certainly don't wanna put more work on her department. But that's our issue.
So it's our first read, but I think the removal of the required phone number for a resident address should probably just get removed. Unless it's a business check outside of town, we need a number just to be able to follow up.
I mean, they've been very good if it's someone who has recently moved to town, changing the address and writing the new physical address. You know, in the town, we have ways of, that we can
Yep.
locate people and where they live within town. But they are making sure they get a Litchfield address.
So you'd have to do two things. One, remove the phone number requirement, and then two, change the notification attempt from making a phone call
To a registered letter or
to
something
a
like that.
letter, yeah. And remove the police department from that. We should just send a letter.
Yeah, I think we should send a letter, especially before we
Bob,
send it off.
Bob, you were shaking your head. What, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I mean, they're leaving a check for the town. They need to have phone number, period. And if they don't want to provide it, don't accept the article. Whether it's a mattress or a refrigerator or whatever, give us a phone number, because if that check gets returned, we shouldn't have to jump through hoops. It's their mistake, okay? It's wrong that we are conceding to someone who may or may not be in a violation by writing a bad check, because it is not legal to write a bad check.
Right, I think that's why the police were involved originally, because it's illegal to write a bad check.
Well, the police in town have always done the follow-ups on
Yeah.
bad checks. I mean, I remember one officer in particular would tell them, whoever it was, you have 24 hours to come down here and make this good, or else. And you know what? I think he had about a 95% rate. And John, you know who he is. Steve probably does too.
I can only imagine who it was.
His name was Joe.
Yeah, okay.
Jim, I'm sorry, Jim, not Joe.
Yeah, Jim, I know who it is now.
See, now, my concern, like, with my phone now, if you call me and you're not on my contact list, it makes you go to voicemail, and I don't even know, I didn't even set that up. So
Hey, Dave,
chances are I'm
it's a
not.
setting. It's a
Yeah, it's a setting, but I don't remember. I'm probably not gonna answer it. My phone's always on mute.
Well, you gotta
It's
be,
usually
now you got a
face down.
voicemail to answer, though. You got a voicemail.
Yeah, I just, to me, I don't think a phone number is necessary. I think if we can send them a letter saying you owe the money.
That costs money. Right? It costs money to type the letter, it costs money to mail the letter.
Yeah, well, at that point, we charge them the fees for that. If we do it, we charge a fee as a penalty for it to get the check corrected, right? I would think.
Well, so you're limited to.
There's another way to look at this.
Charging fees, but
You cannot charge anything and just let them dump the stuff at the dump because they're a town citizen.
Well, how do you validate that? Dump stickers on every car anymore.
Well, you have to show an ID.
Get rid of it, right?
We can't get people to show an ID at the voters booth. Come on.
Well, if you want to dump for free, show an ID.
my concern.
Catchy.
My concern is, first, not all checks that are returned are written in bad faith. So, I mean, there are certainly things that happen, and we've had residents that have had things happen, so I
Absolutely.
I don't wanna take that type of attitude, and I think, you know, for a police officer to show up at your door, I'm sure these residents are quite shocked, but, the other thing is.
It's a phone call.
These workers aren't, you are paying them limited wages to argue with residents. If you don't allow the resident to dump the mattress at the transfer station, guess where it's gonna get dumped?
Inside the
Side of the road.
Then our highway department's gonna have to go pick it up, and either way, you've lost the money anyways.
Well, anyway, this is the first read. I would suggest you publish the doc file to everybody and put it in comment mode and let people comment on it, and then at the next meeting, we can decide what we're gonna go forward on. Because I think, I can see it both sides. I can see Bob's point too. Phone number's a phone number. Just give us a phone number, right? I get it.
Yeah, it's simple.
And, but I also know
Some people-
I also know the young people who are working down, they're trying to get it done, and they're being overrun by our residents unfairly. So I don't like that statement that he could be fired for it. I think it goes into a performance review if it continues, but not being fired. That's not my deal on that, but let's hash it out. Let's get comments on, let's see what people want, and then we'll decide at our next meeting how to move forward with it.
Thank you.
Okay?
There's nothing to do
okay
if
with
they
removing the
refuse
phone number, by the
to
way.
provide a phone number,
too.
except to say you can't dump it. And if they proceed to do so, you take his plate number down. You know, but they shouldn't get in trouble because a resident's being
Can't
obstinate.
look up plates. We can't look up plates
Yeah,
for
we need
those
to-
reasons.
we need to
That's
protect our
against
work.
law.
Well-
You can give a plate to the police.
If you're filing a complaint for fraud, if you write, but if you write a bad check and it bounces, it's a check fraud, they can do an investigation, use the plate number to go find who the resident was. They open a case. Now the police are more involved, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So let's hash it out, at our next meeting, let's come up with some ideas and,
Okay,
we can
second read,
agree.
we'll get it right then.
yes. All right, next, go ahead, Bob, sorry.
I said either a phone number or a license plate on the check. I would be good with either one.
Yeah, capturing the Hampshire license plate number, the license plate number wouldn't be a
Yeah,
bad
whoever
deal,
dumped
that's
it.
all. We can't use it probably, but, yeah.
So-
Okay, all right, we'll move on, because we're hoping to get to our next non-public, our non-meeting at
In
8:30.
effort to expedite this, can I make a motion to appoint Kenneth Daigle as our building inspector?
Thank you, that's what we're
and
gonna
code
do.
enforcement officer?
I second that.
All right, motion made by Mr. Perry, seconded by Ms. Plansky, and just for clarification, the board did take action in non-public. This is to formally announce that Kenneth Daigle is now our building inspector, and to formally announce that we have appointed him. And so we'll take a public vote on that. Any other comments? No. Roll call vote, Mr. Leary,
Aye.
Mr. Gannon,
Aye.
myself, aye. Mr. Perry,
Aye.
Aye.
Plansky, aye. He is now our building inspector officially,
Officially.
officially.
Congratulations.
And we welcome him to
Ken.
the town. I've met with him a couple times. He seems like he's doing a good job. He's got a lot of things to learn ahead of him, but he's focused, so that's good.
Yep.
All right, 2027 budget schedule, second read. It should just be an approval, the budget schedule, what the budget schedule is, right, guys?
That's right.
Make a motion that we accept the budget schedule as written,
As proposed.
as
As
proposed.
proposed.
will
Do I have a second?
I'll
Second by
second
Mr.
that.
Gannon. Any other discussion? I will just say, if anything has to change in the middle of it, it's always been open to be able to change, so it's not a hard, fast rule, but it's a goal, and we'll get it through it, so.
I expressed the concerns of the board when I was at the budget committee last meeting, and they understand all the concerns, but they also have a timeline to hold as they feel, so
Yeah, we'll do our best.
that's that.
Yep.
All right.
Always understanding.
Roll call vote, Mr. Leary,
Aye.
Mr. Gannon,
Aye.
myself is an aye, Mr. Perry.
Aye.
Ms.
Aye.
Plansky, aye. So motion carries 5-0-0. Oh, God. Hawkers, the personnel plan, second read.
Try.
They're both gonna be just as bad.
No, this is gonna be fine.
Personnel plan, second read. Anybody had an opportunity to read it? Any feedback, comments, changes?
Looks good to me. Look at that.
I would ask that we take out the wage information, the appendix, and that gets tabled until we bring you back the salary study that we are completing.
I thought we already were gonna do that. We're gonna put it as an appendix, but the appendix was not gonna be a part of this approval.
Oh, I thought we talked about it. I didn't know if the
No.
board.
I thought we talked about it in the first read, because we already talked about the salary plans. There's no way to be able to execute
Is-
that and get this
Is there
plan.
any reason to approve this until that's done?
That's a good
She
point.
can't check it off her list if we don't approve it.
Well, it doesn't,
Fully getting
it's
you.
not off the list if we have to still make a change.
Yeah, well, we have to make a change to the appendix, yes, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Sorry, Kim, I tried.
That's okay. We'll have the salary study hopefully by the next meeting.
Okay.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Yeah, so then if there's no objections, let's table to the next meeting and hopefully be able to approve it.
I'm talking about this one.
Thank you to all my colleagues who have helped us.
All right, is there no objection? Okay. Hawkers and peddlers, second read.
Can we talk about hawkers and peddlers that are going around town right now that
I will openly say today that I have called the police department about a dozen times on them.
like the last 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
is that what we're
they've been
supposed to
told
be
a
doing?
1,000 times to go get their peddlers, and they haven't even done that. They didn't even apply.
Residents, you do not have to deal with these people. They are not licensed to be at your door.
What do we have currently for
All kinds
licenses?
of stuff.
None, other than the,
None. We refused it.
yeah.
For any license, so ice cream trucks.
Well, the ice
Well,
cream
ice cream
trucks
trucks,
are-
that's,
That's
I'm talking like.
the door-to-door guys, yeah.
The
no.
door-to-door
Door-to-door
guys
guys
are different, but I'm
are
saying,
out for
do we
now.
have any existing hawkers and peddlers licenses that are active?
They've all expired.
We have, donuts,
Allen's, yeah,
ice cream, smoking spank.
Yeah, the food ones,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
That's it.
but none
We
of the
have
door-to-doors.
No door-to-door hawkers.
Okay.
We had 3 last week at our house.
Yeah.
Boy, they like you
How
around
about
town.
you? Well, right? That's because I
I'm
do a
not
good job
home,
on my
so I don't
lawn.
know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I like I said, half a dozen times, they're walking, I'm doing my walk, and they're out there running around, I'm going, do you have what's that?
And
And I
their
take care of
kids.
this one. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, and then they sit and argue that they have one. They don't have one.
I know you don't
So-
have one. I happen to be a selectman in town.
I had one guy argue with me saying he's worth the electric company. I said, I don't care.
That's the solar guy.
The solar guys,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like,
And
doesn't matter.
Fidium was out there saying that they could reduce our whole bill.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can't do that neither. They can do marketing, but they can't come to the door.
Yeah, they came to the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so this is our, this is
maybe
our.
I do wanna see them, but-
Second read. So Kim, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts, well, so, the only reason I would say I'd like you to table it one more time is I did send it to legal counsel.
Okay.
Want to see if, how much, because there's a lot of talk about, you can put may, the selectmen may approve, but I want to see exactly what the teeth are as far as the local governing body in preventing this from happening, and I've heard different. Looking at different towns' policies, I see a lot. Familiar, similar language and not similar language.
So, but nobody's led the
There are
charge
some
like
that have a
Mr.
lot more
Perry. Nobody's led the charge like Mr. Perry saying, don't
No,
knock on
I'm
my
not, I
door.
haven't seen any as strong as Mr.
I'm on, it's not just Mr. Perry at this point. I'm in agreement.
Oh, no, well, we all agree that we don't like to be interrupted at home, I think.
Right.
And I did speak to the, 5 that are on my desk currently that are all the same company, and I said, you are here every year. Are you, approaching the same doors every year? And they said, no, we're going in different areas.
Bologna. Salami.
All right, so we're gonna table it to the next meeting, wait for legal feedback, go from there. All right, next up is we have 1, 2, 3, 4 land use taxes. So, how would you, what? Yeah, Telerico. Yeah, I'll Telerico.
Group them all together.
Okay, so I will make a motion that we approve the land use tax changes on 4 Telerico, which is,
Same amount.
oh yeah, they're all the same amount, yeah, okay. So 4 Telerico for 21,500, 5 Telerico for 21,500, 7 Telerico for 21,500, 39 Telerico for 21,500.
I will second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded by Mr. Gannon. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor? Oh, roll call vote. Mr. Leary.
Aye.
Mr. Gannon.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Mr. Perry.
Bring the money, aye.
Aye.
And Ms. Plansky and I. Motion carries 5-0-0. Here, you can sign them all. And the last thing we have to wrap up, on the business is the warrant for unlicensed dogs. Ms. Kleiner? Just have to approve it, right?
That is correct. So,
My dog's not on it,
That
right?
came from the town clerk's office, this afternoon, and upon your approval, it will get turned over to the police department.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the warrant for unlicensed dogs as presented under RSA 466:14.
I
Second.
do wanna say the town clerk's office has done a tremendous job getting these dogs licensed.
They usually.
It's a
always
smaller
do.
list than it was a couple years back, or
Very
last year,
small
so.
list. Very good.
All right, all those in favor say, oh, sorry, roll call vote. Mr. Leary,
Aye.
Mr. Gannon,
Aye.
I'm an aye. Mr. Perry,
Aye.
Hi.
Blansky, aye. Motion carries 500, and I'll pass it on the sign. Second, public input. Anybody here for public input? 8:22. Seeing no public, we're gonna close 8:22. All right, can we make the town administrator report and,
Why? Yes,
and selectmen report fly so we can get into our next topic?
sure.
So, Ms. Kleiner, please
Good
proceed.
news, Primex will be issuing us back a surplus of $8,605.
Wish it was more.
We all do. As soon as we do, receive it, so that you're gonna have two options, taking a credit against your, 2027. I would not suggest we do that. That has tax cap implications. I would suggest that we take it as unanticipated revenue, and we can talk about that process. I just need a nod that, yes, I should tell Primex to go in that direction.
that makes
And
sense.
then we can formally accept it at the board level.
So it has tax impact ramifications because it reduces the amount of tax we collect next year, and then the year after it would obviously go back up the same amount, correct?
Correct.
So holding this money for the potential increase next year would do the same thing.
She's talking about spending it.
No, I'm asking.
Yeah, that's-
If we took this money, accepted it as unanticipated revenue, okay? And we put it aside, so that when we get the increase this year over what it is, or next year from this year, because that's more likely to happen, right?
So,
It would then decrease the tax amount again, so it would kind of be negative still.
but if you take it as unanticipated revenue, you either have the option of spending it, you can spend it on something that the board deems, or it's gonna fall to unanticipated revenue. At which time you can use it on, something on the warrant, or save it. That's the two options, but it would be, you can't apply it towards an invoice in your general fund budget next year, because it's in
It's already in the unassigned fund balance.
unanticipated revenue, that's where it falls to.
So what my mind process is trying to tell me here is how can we do this to return it to the taxpayer without screwing everything up by decreasing the tax amount,
By
which is
using-
gonna double it in 2 years?
By using it for warrants that are cleared by it.
Okay.
That's the only way I can see it.
It's kinda crazy because everything in my mind says we should just be giving it back, but it screws up
Right.
and gives them a double hit the next time.
Well, and I think what people don't commonly understand is when you use that unanticipated revenue to pay for something that would be on a warrant or is on a warrant, you're lowering that tax amount,
next year.
right? For that would hit them on their taxes next
Yep.
year. So it is giving it back. I do understand it's in a different manner, but
Yep.
it does.
All right.
I just needed you to know that the National Regional Planning Commission, is in their public comment period on their tip plan. There's no, tip changes for Litchfield, it's Hudson and it's Nashua. So I did give you information down below, and if residents have any, questions, they can certainly call me. Trustee of trust funds and the library maintenance fund. So there's been a lot of conversation about this. We met with the trustees. I've spoken with the chair of the library trustees and with our auditors and with our, the Mitchell Group. We believe that when the money was originally donated by, Mr. Cutler and Mr. Cutler, that it was given in stocks and cash. And that the value of those stocks and cash at that time was about $30,000. The way that those trust funds work is you cannot spend the principal, right? The principal has to stay intact. But apparently the auditors had it on their books that it had to be $30,000 in cash. Contacting town council, we believe it's the same. It's the stocks that were originally donated by the Cutlers and the set amount of cash. So we've worked it out, and our auditors are fine, our council's fine, and we're now trying to work between the trustees of the trust fund and the library trustees. We do understand the budget committee is still coming with the issue on what the leach field and septic's gonna cost. We do not know that yet. They did complete the test pits, and they are waiting for the design. There is additional money that we do feel that is revenue that they could spend from those trust funds, but we're gonna wait and see where everything comes up so we can give you a full report. Mailbox at 27 Weatherstone. So this came up back in February, I believe. A granite mailbox had been struck by our plows. It is our policy to repair and not replace granite mailboxes. So we did we've had very good luck with epoxy and our highway department repairing these. The homeowner decided that they wanted a new post, and that they want to move it. So now we're not talking in the same location, feet. We're not talking clear across the yard, but they do wanna move it back where it won't be hit. They're asking our highway department to put it in, dig the hole.
So they'll buy the granite post if our
They did buy the
team
granite.
puts it in?
If
Sounds
our
like a good
highway
idea.
department puts it in. Our concern is that our highway department could take the liability of damaging
Yeah.
the new post, number one. Number two, it's not common for the highway department to dig on residents' property.
It would be in the right of way,
Still in the right of way, even if you move back, yeah.
but I don't think that that's their job.
But they are
We're
doing
setting
it,
a precedent that it has not been there before. If we do that,
It's gonna be expected that,
it will.
Unfortunately, they offered to epoxy it. If they turned it down, it's on them.
Well, that's why I think she bought the new pole, the post. She bought a new post. She's now.
because she didn't want it epoxied.
Right, so she wants it
She's like in
replaced.
replacement instead of,
Yeah.
I'll buy this if you put it in. It costs about $250, doesn't it, to
To install it?
install one of those
Yeah.
suckers?
Does it?
That's what it cost me when I did mine.
Yeah, that's what I thought we paid.
I mean, I think.
My neighbors
you know,
hit it all the
concern
time.
about liability, about damaging the post, I'm sure they're very expensive, but, I think legitimately, our highway department is concerned that they don't do this for a living, they didn't.
All right, that makes a good
if
point.
they are not comfortable with it, I'm not comfortable with it.
There you go.
So notify the owner that she has to put it herself.
Okay,
Lower Merrimack River Advisory Committee, Jeff Town has given his resignation. So we have an opening and we will be posting that, looking for another resident, to join Mr. Croto and Mr. Stone, who are currently on it. Fuel costs. I've
Did-
heard
did-
this question.
I don't even have to bring up the budget committee now. Go ahead.
Down below, It is a sheet. We did a little analysis. Yes, unfortunately, it is not good news. We had received very favorable pricing before the war from a new vendor in Londonderry, and unfortunately, that pricing has not held. And so, if things continue at the current rate, we will be over budget about $26,000 fuel line.
26,000.
It's diesel.
that's just diesel.
Highway, fire.
Right.
I think that's
solid
what that
waste.
$8,000 needs to go towards.
And then
can't
about
direct it that way, it's like-
2,700 in gas, like, police cars and things like that. So it is, the budget committee was right in asking. This is the only thing that we do not have locked. Our propane's locked, our electric's locked, but.
Just so everybody knows, the budget committee asked me about the fuel costs and where we stand with them. I said, I don't know. I'll get you an answer.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna try to guess. I said I thought that we had contracts in place, but if not, I said I'd get back to you.
It's
Kim
total of
watches all the meetings, so she's one step ahead.
$28,916.80.
Lovely.
So that 87 from Primex isn't gonna really help us so much.
No.
There we go.
Well, it'll help some.
Yeah.
It's
And so the trustees of trust fund report is there, should you wanna look at it. And the only new thing I have is June 18th, 5 o'clock, county is having the public hearing on the budget, going up again,
Good.
estimated at 11.38%.
Which one was that again?
Hillsborough County budget
budget.
public hearing. And they are looking, for people to attend.
Okay. RFQ? You was doing a quick highlight on RFQ?
RFQ. We did receive 3 responses, to the RFQ for our managed IT services. These are very complicated proposals, and we just received them. Karen and I opened them up, about 4:30 today. So I can tell you that the costs go anywhere from about 99,000 to 142,000. Now, all of these have a la carte type of pricing. So, you really have to go through and cost these out. Not to mention, there's very technical pieces of these that I certainly need
And they all-
John to look at.
They all dumped Google, all 3 of them?
Yeah, no one really likes Google.
Yeah.
But.
Which
so
I'll remind the
I'm going
board, it's
to
2 times the
scan-
cost to leave, so.
Right.
I'm gonna scan all the information, and send, the links out so that everybody can look at them, and they'll be, very public.
Thank you.
They're responses to a public RFQ, so they are public. And then we can move, from there.
So this will be on our next meeting?
Yeah, so like she said, so scan each one of the bundles together, each bundle separately, post it so we can look at it and review it and make some assumptions. I can,
All 3 of them, though, only want to be the sole provider.
one was a co, but
Yeah,
that
one's
was,
a co-managed service. Interestingly enough,
That's
that's
expensive.
the 142.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
yeah, I spoke to them directly and I was, yeah.
So it
crazy.
definitely, there's a lot to work with
Okay.
those.
Okay. All right, moving on,
Bob, do you have any questions on that?
yeah.
No, I don't have it in front of me, so I can't see it. So I'll wait till I see it.
Yeah, so next meeting, we'll discuss it then.
Yeah, we'll get the links out to everybody tomorrow, I guess, tomorrow afternoon.
No,
if we
nobody
can.
has them yet. So.
Right, we don't have them yet. They just got opened today. As she said, Karen and Kim opened them. I haven't even seen them either, so I have no idea. All right, moving on to selectmen reports. Ms. Plansky.
As Joe mentioned, they've had a flyer hit for the 250th hit every home. Hopefully that will get a good participation. There's also a display copy going out to the vendors in town to be able to put in their windows and et cetera. The committee's done a really good job. Lot of balls in the air, and they're all doing a really good job. Heritage Commission meeting, I had a grandchild thing that I had to do, so I wasn't able to meet the last one. But I have been every Thursday in 250th birthday Zoom meetings. Let's see, what else is going on? I was at the last planning board meeting, and the next planning board meeting is next Tuesday at 7 o'clock, and they're going to have a workshop that's going to be talking about stormwater damage and some other items as well. So that'll be next week. And I think that's all she wrote. Oh, how can I forget this? On Thursday, our circumventional highway exploratory committee is meeting at 6:30 in Town Hall. It's a public meeting. You're all welcome. We do have Jay Minkara. He's going to be there as a guest, and we have a few topics on there that are new developed information. So.
Okay. Mr. Perry?
The biggest things from the budget committee was the gas, the fuel costs, and the only other thing they were asking questions about is where we stand with the library. And I provided them feedback from the library about that they're working on creating a plan for the building that they have for the future, and that should all be presented in the coming weeks when they present their plan for the septic.
Okay.
I can forward those documents off to you guys too, that I
Alright.
got from them.
Anything else?
That's it.
Mr. Gannon?
Conservation was what you saw before us earlier this evening.
All right. And I don't have anything. FIC hasn't met since our last meeting, and our next meeting is next Thursday, or this Thursday. And there's been no emergency management meeting, so we're good there. So that, I believe, concludes, oh, Rex, sorry, Bob.
It's all right, don't mind me.
You're just hanging on the wall over there with a big head.
Bob on the wall.
Thanks Judy Brennan, because I wasn't able to attend the last meeting because I was getting ready for my surgery, so she prepped me with some notes. Rec meeting highlights, preparing to host the 250th celebration in July with the powwow in August at Dara. New slide, they're getting to replace the broken one on the playground. It's in pretty rough shape. And they're getting estimates for painting the exterior of Talent Hall, tennis court repairs, and other items listed on the CIP. They're working towards all that.
Busy.
The only other thing I had, CIP, I had a work commitment that came up that day, so I wasn't able to attend the meeting, and unfortunately, it was the same meeting that Kim wasn't at. So they were done in 20 minutes. There was nothing to really talk about.
Yeah, it was televised.
They basically put everything off until the next meeting.
One thing I did forget to mention, and it's totally unrelated to all this, is that on the 18th, we did the field dedication at Campbell for Jimmy Gorham, former baseball coach over there, which I was kind of leading that a little bit with Coach Gora. So we did that dedication, and the field's now officially the Jimmy Gorham Field. And there's some real nice things over there. We got a beautiful gazebo donated by Pete Perry, and it's a real great project coming to fruition.
That's great. All right, well, that concludes our business meeting. So I'm going to make actually, Kim, procedure here. We're going to be going into a non-meeting, so we're going to adjourn this meeting, the meeting's over. Okay. So I will make a motion, we adjourn the meeting at 8:41.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Mr. Perry. Roll call vote, Mr. Leary?
Aye.
Mr. Gannon?
Aye.
Myself's an aye.
Aye.
Perry?